Hi, my name is Peyton Durham, and today I'm going to be talking about All the Brighter Places. So, our main character is Finch, and he's a high school student who meets a girl named Violet. They meet on a bridge, and Violet was on the other side about to take her life, but Finch ends up talking her out of it. They are assigned to do a project together that captures natural wonders in Indiana. Violet at first tries to get out of the assignment, but Finch ends up convincing her, and then their friendship starts. Finch throughout the movie is always seen writing on sticky notes that he puts on his walls or running, which is later highlighted as his form of coping with his hyperactive manic episodes. So the diagnosis I give Finch is bipolar disorder, and you can see this through his manic versus depressive cycles that occur over the course of the movie. His mania and hyperness is shown by outburst when he destroys the wall of sticky notes he has on his walls. He's had that his whole life, and he ends up painting over them, realizing he made a terrible mistake, hiding in his closet for a while. And then he also has a lot of fights at school just by if someone would push his shoulder in the hallway on accident, he would hit them. And then his depressive cycles are shown with him missing school for weeks on end and not letting anyone know. He is in therapy. He has to do that in order to go to school, but he doesn't take it very seriously. Um, in terms of culture, bipolar disorder is diagnosed and treated because it's placed in modern day America, Indiana. And then in terms of the world, bipolar disorder is not diagnosed and treated everywhere because of factors like healthcare availability, specialist, and cultural stigma stop treatment from taking place. The National Library of Medicine states that the prevalence is lower in Southeast Asia and is much higher in North and Latin America, Western Europe, and North Africa, just because of greater resources and just lack of stigma towards it. Evidence of his bipolar disorder is first engagement in reckless behavior. He stands on bridges with one foot. He likes to be underwater for long periods of time, holding his breath till the last minute. He throws chairs at his schoolmates. He gets in fight, and he states throughout the movie that he does these things so that he feels alive and he feels awake. The DSM-V states that excessive involvement in activities that have a high potential for painful consequences is a sign of bipolar disorder. The second evidence is his depression cycle. Finch throughout the movie refers to this as him being asleep, and he'll write that on the sticky note, indicating to the audience and reader that this is his depression cycle. And he's distant around his friends, zoned out, and is all of a sudden he's happy, all of a sudden he's gone for weeks. The DSM-V states a depression cycle as depressive moods most of the day. Nearly every day is indicated by either subjective reports, him feeling asleep, or observations made by others. That's his friends throughout the movie are telling Violet, hey, you just have to get used to this. He gets sad a lot. He does not show a sign of or a change in self-importance. He always is the whole movie searching for the meaning of his life, even when he's depressed and hyper. When he's hyper, he doesn't feel like he has the inflated self of importance like the DSM-V states as a sign. The National Library for Medicine states that bipolar disorders are shown by characteristics of recurrent episodes of mania and depression influenced by genetic and environmental factors. Treatment, my advice for Finch would be to get tested for bipolar disorder because he does not have any diagnosis in the movie. The only indication of this is his asleep versus awake cycles that he goes through and how they characterize those. So if he did test positive, I would recommend him seeing not a school therapist because he doesn't take that seriously, but someone who is specialized in behavior and personality disorders. The National Library of Medicine states that proper treatment involves mood stabilizers, antipsychotics, and use of antidepressants or bipolar medication. And then cognitive behavioral therapy. Ethical concerns for this are if a bipolar person is in a manic depression cycle episode and they trying to harm themselves and they don't they have to be admitted to the hospital because they're going to kill themselves, but then they're out of the episode, they're not going to want to be there. So that's an ethical concern, if they can give informed consent. And a barrier to Finch would be that he doesn't have a parental figure. His mom is always gone into the last scene at his funeral. And without a parental figure at a young age of 16, 17, it's going to be hard for him to take his meds and continue treatment therapy. Portrayal of disorder, they did a very accurate portrayal by giving those awake versus asleep terms. It clearly indicated to the audience that he feels two separate, distinct personalities. And at the end, Finch ends up disappearing yet again, and he ends up killing himself. Violet finds him, and the ending demonstrates how when bipolar disorder goes untreated, it can lead to that consequence of suicide. And then these are my citations. Thank you for listening.